firstly, why the Scallop Frets?
Well, as you know, as a fellow guitarist, you like having that low action.
Yeah.
Same with these. But what always annoyed me was my string not being able to, my finger not being able to get under the string. But you know, when you're like glancing off the top of the string when you're trying to make a bend. So with scallops, you can have the closeness to the fretboard. You can do all your legato stuff nice and easy, but you can also get your fingers under the string to get hold of a bend, grab it by the balls. So you can make a big bend just with one finger.
And what about the pickups, the trem system? Like, what have you gone for all that?
Well, Dylan is very accommodating, so he doesn't mind if you stick an Daemoness trem on it, because he knows as well as I do that they're the best trems in the world. So it's an original edge. The pickups are an Evo 2 in the bridge, as you can see, I'm a big Vi fan, but the Evo 2 is a slightly less powered version of that one, and the neck is a Half Pro, you know, which is just a little bit less power. It's like you can hear the note separation. While still having plenty of like sustained for your melody notes.
Would it be safe to assume that this guitar is an Ibanez killer then? In other words.
Well, yeah, I'm not really playing the other ones anymore, unfortunately. I just can't get with them anymore. So if anyone wants to buy an Ibanez,
you know where to come. So what would you say is your favourite thing about the Daemoness then?
Well, the build quality is just insane for a start, obviously. You know, the amount of care and attention that goes into the one build as opposed to something that's on a production line is pretty phenomenal.
It's hard to put across the build quality of an instrument in a video. However, the detail in the finish of the guitar and in the artwork, which you can see now, goes some way in demonstrating the quality of the build. The playability of the guitar is every bit as impressive as the aesthetics. The sustain is the best I've come across thus far, and I've played a lot of guitars. It's well balanced, the neck relief is just right. It basically never frets out before a string breaks, which is especially relevant to a heavy tremolo arm user like myself. Regards to the artwork, I suggested to Dylan that we have a depiction of the historical figure of Vlad the Impaler, and referenced the Battle of Targovishta for him to look up in particular. And it became clear pretty quickly that we were both history nerds, so it was a perfect concept from both of our perspectives. He ran with it with virtually no input from me beyond offering the initial concept. He researched it extensively, and if you're familiar with the history, you can see that the armaments Dylan's painted in are accurate to the period. Vlad is wielding his signature Killer G blade, a sword that he went to use in captivity under the Turks, which is essentially a scimitar with a weighted tip designed to make cutting off heads and limbs easier. We wanted the brutality of the defence of Christian Europe to come out, and what better way to do that than to depict the infamous Forest of the Impaled, where Vlad impaled so many Turks that when the next invading Ottoman force, led by the Sultan, came and found them, they simply turned around and went home. It's realistic and it's surreal and it's brutal. Anyway, I'm going to talk about visiting the Daemoness workshop now.
I went down there, he said, how do you want the neck? Passed me a bit of wood, basically said I want it like this, carved it in front of me. Is that alright? So I take a bit more off there, make it a bit rounder, because I wanted a shape that was something like the gem in terms of its thinness, but I never really understood what the craze with flat necks was. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but if your thumb is only ever on one place at one time, why does the neck need to be like a flat thing?
Yeah.
So I asked for it to be thin but rounder, more like almost like a fendery kind of a profile with a thin, shreddy feel to it. So it's like a bit of a hybrid. So I asked for that and got it. So I'm really pleased with it. It's very comfortable. It's comfortable for chording.